Environmental change is forcing us to rethink pretty much everything, from farming to fashion. It's up to government and down to business to act responsibly in the face of the climate emergency. But there is a lot we can do ourselves if we're willing to adapt. Welcome to a new edition of Eco Africa. I am Chris Alems, coming to you from Lagos, Nigeria.
And I am Sandra Kahomza Twinovideo right here in Kampala, Uganda. Nice to have you with us again. Here is what we've got coming up on the show. A robot that detects a disease in crops. Why global warming is transforming Europe's wine industry. Also find out how a rap star in Gambia is using his fame for a good cause. It's well documented that the world's oceans are choking on plastic. But did you know that lakes are even more polluted? Africa's largest freshwater lake is at serious risk of degrading, partly due to poor waste management. But there are people right here in Kampala working hard to turn things around.
Once a month, Hassan Tenyo takes a dive to search for waste. Though visibility underwater is low, he and his colleagues don't have to dive too deep, since plastic floats towards the surface. Lake Victoria, Africa's biggest freshwater lake, is full of trash.
Down there, when I dive down there are some plastics and these fishing nets which are no longer being used by the fishermen.
Hassan Tenyo lives on the Ugandan shore of Lake Victoria. Though he earns most of his money from boat tours, for almost 3 years now, he's been diving for a local organization that aims to clean up the lake. They pull out abandoned fish nets or ghost nets, which are dangerous for the divers and their project.
There's a day when I entered there down and I was grabbed with a fishing net. Yeah, that's the worst thing I have. I used my knife, which I move with, and I tried to cut all of them.
They not only clean up the water, they also retrieve waste from the shore that's covered in dense vegetation. The 9-man team also gets help from volunteers. Each month, they gather tons of plastic and bring it to land. Faizo Motumba started the initiative. He's been organizing regular cleanups here for 4 years. His program, Uganda Junior Rangers, aims to return the lake to its natural state. The plastic and other waste in Lake Victoria mainly comes from the canals of Uganda's capital, Kampala, especially the Nakivubo Canal. A team of the Junior Rangers works here 3 times a week.
We do watershed protection of the lake. We do the water channels that get it, the lakes that are around the lake, and the coastal areas on the shores of Lake Victoria. Because of it, a small team we have, we are able to collect over 10 tons of plastics within the lake and out of the watershed. But with a bigger team, we can collect as much as 50 tons in a mass and plastic.
The team also tries to convince as many residents as possible to take part in the cleanup on the canal.
So we try to build stewardship and community buy-in in what we are trying to do through these community activities, cleanup activities, and whenever we go in the communities, we engage with the community also, try to get them involved, then educate them about the negative impact it has to their communities and their neighborhood.
Those living near the canal are starting to realize that it's healthier and better for the environment not to throw waste into the water.
If we solve them from this side, we shall make sure that the lake is free and convenient for swimming and for fishing and for all other activities that will take place on the lakes.
Getting all the plastic out of Lake Victoria would be a huge undertaking. The lake is almost as big as Sierra Leone. Though there are laws against water contamination in Uganda, they're not very effective. The country also doesn't have a functioning waste management system. The government is currently discussing a stricter environment protection law that would penalize polluters.
He who pollutes it's supposed to pay for the cleanup. And in most cases, people think that it's okay for me to pollute, and then government should be able to do the cleanup. There are certain fines, administrative fines, that are going to be there under the National Environmental Act, which will discourage people from littering.
The government supports the organization only in theory. Their only regular source of income comes from selling plastics to recycling companies where they are converted to brick or similar products. The money they earn from that helps cover the team's costs. The group also collaborates with 2 international aid organizations. With their help, they've been able to buy 2 cargo bikes and their boat.
The support we get is majorly to run, fuel the moat, then facilitate the youth teams that we work with. But no major money that we gain from this majorly volunteer one we do.
So far, not enough people have taken measures to help protect Lake Victoria. Clean water is critical for the survival of those who live on the lake. Hassan Tenywa comes from a family of fishers and knows firsthand how important this is.
I don't earn a lot from diving, but the way I love this job, I just work so that I can help other people's life.
He and his group want to continue their project. They will continue educating young people in the process, which will allow their diving team to keep growing.
Infestation is every farmer's worst nightmare. It can ruin a harvest, and climate change is making pest outbreaks more and more common. Spotting an outbreak quickly is crucial for keeping damage to a minimum.
Indeed it is, Sandra. But it looks like smart farming and pest detection technology could be the answer. On this week's Doing Your Bit, we'll pay a visit to Morocco to see what that looks like on the ground.
These fruit trees keep getting attacked by bacteria, fungi, and viruses. Another stress factor for them is excessive dryness. A little helper that could warn farmers in time would be really practical. A little robot, for example. It's the invention of a young engineer named Mahdi Abu Manadil. He's testing it on some farms outside the Moroccan city of Casablanca.
With this invention, Mahdi is guiding us, showing us the right ways to go about agriculture, with suitable cures for plants and everything about them. Mahdi is a great help.
The engineer fed the agricultural robot's hard drive with information about plants and pests. 2 cameras are there to capture the surroundings with infrared and UV light. The robot can be controlled via an app. Mahdi Abu Manadil has been field testing his creation since November 2022.
Through these experiments, we can anticipate the issues the farmer might face. At the same time, we've embedded artificial intelligence to detect diseases.
If the robot detects some kind of infestation, it can treat the affected tree directly. The robot will be equipped with different types of pesticides. If chemical pesticides are used, far smaller quantities will be needed due to this targeted spraying. If these tests are successful, the little robot could help save entire harvests.
And how about you? If you're also doing your bit, tell us about it. Visit our website. #DoingYourBit. We share your stories.
When you think of European vineyards, you probably think of France, Italy, Spain, right? But rising temperatures are having a huge impact on the ancient tradition of winemaking and pushing it northwards. With extreme weather taking a toll on vineyards in the south, the industry is starting to flourish in places you'd usually associate with snow and ice, Scandinavia.
No, this isn't Bordeaux. These grapevines are in Sweden, and climate change is making it all possible. But the winemakers here are French. Emma Berthaud and Romain Chiquery met while studying winemaking. They moved to Sweden when they got the chance to manage a winery on the country's southern coast. So this is Solaris. Solaris is like the national grape variety here in Sweden. At the moment, our job is to remove the lower leaves so air can pass through. This reduces disease. Sweden is not generally known for its wine, but thanks to new, adapted grape varieties, the assortment of Swedish wines is maturing nicely. Now, with climate change making for warmer and longer growing seasons, the country is fast becoming a wine-growing destination. Winemakers believe that Sweden's moderate climate has many benefits. We have very few problems with frost because our plants don't start growing until early May, when there is no more frost. So that's a good thing. And we have fewer problems with extreme weather incidents. In France, you have these really long, hot periods with no rain. You have big storms with hail. Climate change is not only behind melting glaciers and drying rivers. Entire ecosystems are on the move. Invasive species, like the Asian tiger mosquito in Greece, or blue crabs in France. Places where they didn't previously live due to climatic conditions. And it is possible to grow completely different plants in regions that were previously too cold.
Watermelons were typical crops which are not grown in Germany some time ago, but it seems to be more and more possible with increasing temperatures. This requires a lot of changes already for the farmers, and this requires also coming up with new infrastructure for techniques, for harvest management, for agriculture practices.
Sweden's new winemakers are ambitious. Kullabergs Vingard is the fourth largest vineyard in the country. It's investing in the future with new equipment and a state-of-the-art winery that aims to produce 100,000 bottles a year. But it's not just about making wine. They want to create a world-class product and develop an entire industry.
Grapes grow best on the coolest frontier. There's a reason why Champagne and Burgundy is not located in southern Italy or in Portugal or in Africa, because you want this fruity, fun, vigorous wine, and you can't find it if it's too hot.
Still, the negative effects of global warming far outweigh any benefits, especially in the global south. But even in Europe, farmers are struggling.
When we look at this year in particular, I think we have seen the heat wave in Italy, which had tremendous effects on the crop yields. I think it's often possible to switch crops, have different varieties to be grown, but this requires breeding efforts. So if we want to have fitting varieties in 2030 or 2040, we have to start our efforts now.
For now, here in Sweden, higher temperatures are proving to be an opportunity for winemakers. But it would be short-sighted to see only the upside.
We should take or see this as a warning sign and not as something what we find nice that now we have also Swedish wine. But I think with all these ongoing trends, I think this is something where we really have to react and respond right now.
Egypt, with its deserts, long coastline, and mega city Cairo, is extremely vulnerable to the effect of climate change. Now leaders want to increase public investment in climate-friendly measures by 50% by 2025. Now, this does not only apply to major initiatives, but small-scale grassroots ones too. A tiny non-profit outside the capital is among those seeking to bring change to ordinary community life.
Habiba is helping out, and so is Ahmed. Children from the Egyptian village of Ezbet Ishaq are excited about their small new playground that's being built with recycled materials. It's to be really colorful. Neighbors and other villagers are making sure of that. The project was initiated by an Egyptian NGO called Beina. The organization promotes sustainable projects and particularly focuses on children and young people.
Children in rural areas often lack playgrounds. With each project, we're creating open spaces for them, and we make these spaces with recycled materials such as old wood and car tires.
This playground is linked to a new school building, where children with learning difficulties or those who have stopped going to school can receive extra help to get them back into school. The village of Eisbeit Ishaq is about a 2-hour journey southwest from Cairo. The area has one of the highest rates of illiteracy in the country. The nearest school is a 2-kilometer walk away on a road with lots of traffic.
We built the classroom for young children. It's much closer so they won't have to walk on the busy road.
Now the village has the only school of its kind in all of Egypt that's made with recycled materials. It was built from compacted earth and 9,000 plastic bottles filled with sand. Plastic waste is a huge problem in Egypt. The country produces 5.4 million metric tons of plastic each year and is the biggest plastic polluter in the Arab world. The construction industry is responsible for around 1/4 of Egypt's carbon emissions because it relies heavily on concrete. Worldwide, concrete production generates nearly 3 billion tons of CO2 per year. Of course, one school building made of earth and plastic bottles filled with sand won't solve that problem, but it can show what's possible.
There's a trend toward reducing plastic usage and finding solutions or non-polluting ways to recycle it. So we thought, why shouldn't we start with a new idea and a prototype to reuse plastic in something that benefits school children and the environment?
Meanwhile, the playground is slowly taking shape. There are very few jobs here, so the villagers are happy to have work. Shaba'an Ashur normally gets by doing casual labor. Here he gets paid 15 euros a day. His son Adam is also helping.
I wanted to work here for the sake of the children. I've gathered new ideas too, which I can apply elsewhere.
The building work has taken 6 months. Many of the villagers were involved and filmed the progress. The school and playground cost around 10,000 euros to build. The project was funded by UNESCO as a model of how good ideas can help reduce waste. The villagers' participation in the project was not about saving money. It's an important part of the concept.
We want them to appreciate the building so they'll look after it. If they share in the work, they'll feel like it belongs to them.
The finishing touches are being applied to the flooring. Even one of the architects is helping. The building has space for 35 children to resume their schooling in a pleasant atmosphere. The palm trees in the classroom were allowed to remain and have been incorporated into the design. The roof is made of bamboo, a fast-growing sustainable material. In the evening, the playground is finally ready. The work is over. Now it's time to relax and enjoy the results.
It's amazing to see what sustainable architecture can do and how it can inspire young people. What also helps raise environmental awareness among this generation is when the message is spread by someone they admire. Or don't you agree with me, Sandra?
Yes, I do, Chris. Social media personalities and influencers can reach hundreds or even thousands of followers with just one single post. But music is another medium that speaks to so many people. And in our next report, we'll hear how a Gambian rapster is using his massive popularity for a good cause.
Planting trees and singing while he does it. You'd expect nothing else from one of the Gambia's most popular rappers. And and is not doing it by himself. In total, 1 million trees are to be planted by 2027. That's the goal he set when he started the project last year. The chances are he'll be successful, given the support of his fans.
It's been amazing. People have been coming out in their numbers to support the fans, you know, to from the community leaders all the way to the kids. It's just been amazing. Everybody else is involved.
ST sells out stadiums. People identify with his music, which he performs in Mandinka, the main language spoken in the Gambia, and is known for being outspoken and calling out corrupt politicians.
When they all hate, I love my people. When the rain starts, I'm umbrella for my people. Dilikando kona kei roti for your people. Stay loyal to your people. My people are you people. Don't lie to the people. Speak the truth to your people.
If you have a huge following and these people listen to you and they follow you, you have these kids that want to be like you. You know, they look at what you do and what you say, and you know, when you use your platform to support, say, the environment and stuff like that, these people see that too, and then they feel there is a need.
ST has taken his 1 million trees campaign across the whole country to cities, rural communities, and remote areas. The Gambia's once dense forest cover has steadily diminished over the years due to deforestation, worsening the effects of climate change. Weather extremes such as heavy rains and drought is becoming increasingly frequent.
We have a lot of increase in temperature, daily temperature, because we have less trees now, because we have a lot of people getting involved in cutting down trees for wood production, for construction. Trees contribute to mitigating these greenhouse gases. Trees contribute to minimize the impacts of climate change in our environment.
The rapper has always seen his craft as a way of spreading his message. Today, he's recording his first track about environmental conservation. Don't cut the trees, he sings. Preserve the trees. Protect the environment. He's using his platform to encourage his fans to help him in his mission.
I have people that move all the way from this area all the way to anywhere to plant trees. I have people that call me, yo, on your next schedule, please do let us know.
Young and old are taking part in the initiative. ST is financing the trees himself through his foundation. His grassroots efforts to restore the environment's natural balance is inspiring communities across the Gambia to take action themselves. Like Sutu Sinjang in the west of the country.
We are thrilled to participate in these tree planting activities aimed at restoring forest cover. This is our environment, and that's why we are taking ownership, working collectively with the singer to achieve positive results.
Once the saplings are planted, they need to be watered regularly and taken care of to make sure they flourish. The people of Sutu Sinjang are committed to the project. The more the trees grow, the more carbon they store. Deforestation is a global problem. ST sees his project as a message, not just to Gambians, but to the world, about the importance of protecting the environment, combating climate change, and preventing biodiversity loss, and working together.
Political people, NGO people, people for the interest of the people. People, with people, stop using people, vehicle,
Our environment is seriously depleted. We have seen rising temperatures, rising sea level, inadequate rainfall, and you know, I think it's of vast importance that we take our environment seriously, because trees give life.
It's taken a year to plant the first 50,000 trees, and given the enthusiastic response to ST's initiative, the rapper will soon have achieved his goal of planting 1 million.
If only more celebrities used their platform to benefit the environment. And on that note, it is a goodbye from Kampala and me, Sandra Kahomza Twino Video.
And from me, Chris Alems in Lagos. If you enjoyed this show, don't forget you can always check in with us on our social media channels. Or why not send us an email to tell us about projects in your area dedicated to protecting the environment. We look forward to hearing from you. See you next time.